It's a blessing to me that we should meet. I'd like to thank each and a seat and everybody on their feet. A poetry story began around 2003 with light speed has us in the now live stream on Podbean, hitting it off like 80s melodies from Aretha and Tina T, all about the RESPECT that allows one to listen and another to speak. If we seek, can't we find the poet that's inside? Do you agree we should remember a poem doesn't have to rhyme? How it can be a full page or just a few chat lines? You may be grown or a child. You or I may have the words the divine uses to save lives. But however you spend your time, right now, we are live. Welcome and good evening. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Poets Lounge Poet Trivia Game Show. I'm your host, Naquel. And as always, you're in the place where we have fun celebrating poets. So get ready to stimulate your mind and relax it at the same time. I want to welcome our guests this evening. These dope poets at play are Lone Wolf and the Prince of Darkness. Now, Lone Wolf is a Puerto Rican published poet from Brooklyn, New York. You might have seen him blazing an IG Live open mic once or twice. His writing has become an escape from the harshness of the real world. You can find him on IG at Lone Wolf Poetry 7. And he is joined by Tasheem, the Prince of Darkness, entrepreneur and spoken word recording artist, originally from the Bronx, currently hailing out of Amityville, New York. He is a diehard hip hop fan, and his latest spoken word album will be landing soon. Look out for Flight of the Beetle. You can find him on Facebook at Evan Tasheem Reynolds. Welcome our guest to the stage. Yes. Thank you for coming up to the Poets Lounge. How you doing? I don't hear you guys. Hello?
I'm here.
There's one. All right, and there's another. There's two. 1 and 2. How y'all brothers feeling, man?
Everything's great, man. Everything's good, man. Pleasure to be here. Ready to have some fun, man.
That's the stuff.
I'm just chilling here, just relaxing, trying to do the same thing. So we all here to have a good time.
Well, that's definitely what it's about. I thank you guys very much for accepting the invitation. It's a pleasure to have you guys. I'm looking forward to having a dope show, a fun night as well. I hope you're feeling good because I'm relaxing. I got my tea here, so I'm ready to go. I love bringing poets together, especially if they've never really met each other before, so they can kind of connect and build and go from there. So you guys don't know each other though, correct? You're just meeting for the first time on this?
Yes.
Right. We've never actually, crossed paths in any venues or anything.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So it's all going to happen au natural tonight, a vibe session. These are amazing poets. Again, humbled that they accepted the invitation for us to chill and do this. So it's really quite simple. At the end of the day, the mission here is to relax, kick back, and just chill. How does that sound?
Sounds amazing.
Sounds great, man.
All right, let's get into it. So our Poet Trivia game, I'm going to explain to you briefly how that goes. I invite you to play along if you're listening to the podcast. Our poets are going to play 2 rounds of Poet Trivia tonight and win by earning the most points at the end of the second round. The first place prize is a feature in the Spilled Ink Showcase inside of the Ink magazine. Shout out to the creator, God's Ink. Their new issue is actually dropping in January, so look out for that. So make sure you got your competitive hats on.
That just put a little extra bug in my back right there.
It definitely
magazine. Okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's
great. That made me sit up now.
Well, when we celebrate poets, the ink often spills over from the podcast and the creativity flows. So we wanted to celebrate them there as well. We have a few categories already set up for tonight's game. We're going to touch on the 4: puzzle, writing, listening, and knowledge. We're going to start off with puzzle. The first game will be give and take. Give and take is a game where I am going to actually give you points, but you'll have to work to keep them. So you don't have to do much to get them, but you'll have to work to keep them. So there's a theme, and then I'm going to give you the word or the number of letters in the word, and it's similar to Hangman, where you're trying to guess, and then you lose a point, the potential point that you could win if you guess incorrectly. So, you guys understand the game?
So basically, it's like a game of Hangman.
It's basically like Hangman, exactly.
With a positive twist and a more realistic twist. This is in my mind anyway.
No one gets lynched in the end, right?
No egg. Thank you. I had to look at this thing and say, okay. All right. So, guys, our category is going to be furniture, wood. Furniture, wood. So, just to give you a quick idea, think words like oak or grain, right? So, I'm going to start you guys off with 3 points. Each of you is going to get 3 points that you can potentially keep. It's a 3-letter word. I'm going to ask you guys to just go ahead and guess. We can start with you, Lone Wolf, what you think the first letter is, or second or third, whichever one. What letter you think is there?
B.
B? No. Go with Tasheem.
I'll go with A.
A? Yes, that is correct. Got that. Okay. Lone Wolf. A is the first character in the 3-word. So A is in space 1. All right, Lone Wolf. Guess another letter. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. I? No, I is not there. Okay. Tasheem?
Wow, it's a 3-letter word, and I just got
Yes.
to guess the first one. You would think I'd know the word.
You can try to guess the word if you think you know. 10 seconds.
9, 8, 7, 6,
Oh.
5,
Nope, there is no O.
3,
All right.
2, 1.
Lone Wolf. Your final guess.
T.
No, there is not a T, unfortunately. And Tasheem, your final guess.
P.
No, there is no P. Very good try here, guys. Tasheem got the 1 point that he was able to secure. He lost the other potential 2. And we didn't get any points there for Lone Wolf. But the word here is ash. A-S-H. Ash. All right, let's do a couple more of these. Here's the next one. It's going to be 7 letters. And again, it's furniture, wood. 7 letters. We'll start with you this time, Tasheem.
Okay, 7 letters this time. Give me an E.
And unfortunately, there is no E. Okay.
C.
No, there's no C. Not in this one. Tasheem?
There's definitely an A.
There is no A. Was that your third guess, right?
That's my second guess.
Second guess. Okay. Thank you. All right. No A. It's a good guess. All right, Lone Wolf, what do you think?
M.
M. No M. You potentially save 5 points there. What do you think, Tasheem?
I'm gonna go with a O.
You've got 2 O's. They are in the 6th spot and the 5th spot. It's the 5th and 6th letters. So you got that. So you're going to get both those, actually. And you're up.
It's in the 5th spot.
Yes, it's in spot number 5 and spot number 6.
Okay.
N?
N as in Nicholas?
Yes.
No, unfortunately, no N. You got 4 more potential points you can secure, Lone Wolf, on your next go. Tasheem, you're up.
I'm gonna go with a T.
T as in Tango?
T as in Tango.
No, unfortunately, there's no T. Lone Wolf?
P?
Yes, there is a P. Okay. Tasheem? P is in the first spot, excuse me. Is in the first spot. Now, if you think you can guess it, you risk losing all points that are remaining that you can do.
Okay.
Tasheem, you're up.
Okay. Give me an I.
I? No I. You have one more chance, and Lone Wolf, you're up.
L?
Yes, there is an L. It's in the second spot. All right. Nicely done. Tasheem, you're up.
I'm gonna go with a K.
K. No, there is no K. So you have managed to secure 2 points out of that, Tasheem. And Michael, you're up. You've got 2 more chances, 2 more guesses.
R?
No R.
Wow. I'm gonna have to say Y.
Yes, there is a Y, but you actually, you had no more guesses. You lost all the potential points because you secured 2 of them. When you said O, which is good. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I think you just helped out. You just helped out Lone Wolf a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
You had one more guess, Lone Wolf. You want to guess the word? Think you know what it is?
No.
The Y is in the third spot, by the way, since he did call it out, and it was there. Y is in the third spot. It was an accident, so I'll give you both that. Okay, I'll give you both the Y. Tasheem will get that, and Michael will get it.
No, don't do that, bro. It's only fair. No. I called it out. I was out of line. No. Let's be fair. Okay, it's all
right.
good.
Nobody gets that then. Okay.
All right.
Who gets that?
W?
W is correct. Yes. All right. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 points out of that, Michael. Lone Wolf. And Ta got 3. Excuse me. You got 2 points out of that. So it gives you a total of 3. Tasheem and Michael. Michael has 3. I thought it was 4, but it's 3. All right. So it's tied up, already kind of close. We're gonna switch over into a different game. Change it up a little bit. As poets, as spoken word artists, we pride ourselves on being able to deliver, and so I wanted to challenge that a little bit with this next game. It's called Tongue Tangle Battle. I have a few tongue twisters, and you guys are going to challenge each other just to do it 5 times each. And I'm going to be the judge, listening in closely and carefully to see just who gets tangled the least. Guys, understand that game?
Yes, I do.
Yes, sounds okay.
Right. So the first tongue twister I have for you here, and we'll start this off with you, Lone Wolf, is truly rural. Truly rural. And you've got to do it 5 times each.
Truly rural.
I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to look at it.
10, 9.
Maybe say it over
8,
in your mind.
7, 6.
Get comfy
5
and confident.
4, 3.
And then at the
2,
end,
1.
go for it.
Truly rural. Truly rural. Truly rural. Truly rural. Truly rural.
Okay, that's 5. Nicely done. All right, Tasheem, your turn. And speed matters. Speed can give you the edge or advantage.
Okay. Ready? Go.
I'm ready. Yep. Oh, actually, let me give you a 10 seconds as well.
10, 9, 8, 7,
Look it over.
6, 5,
Saying
4,
your head a few times.
3, 2, 1.
Truly rural, truly rural, truly rural, truly rural, truly rural. That was 5?
All right. Yeah, you got it. And I'm going to actually give that one to Tasheem. It was a little bit, a bit faster. And I think the second time, it was a little bit clearer in terms of the enunciation of the words. So just by a bit, Tasheem is going to get that one. So he's leading by 4 points here. He's 4 points to 3 points. And here is the next one that I have for you. And Tasheem, you're going to start this one off. It's toy boat, try boat, toy boat, try boat. And again, it's going to be
10,
5 times
9,
each.
8,
Get a chance to look at
7,
it.
6, 5,
Toy
4,
boat, try boat.
3,
I would mess this
2,
up.
1.
Toy boat, try boat, toy boat, try boat, toy boat, try boat, toy boat, try boat, toy boat, try boat.
Okay, that's 5. All right. Gonna give you 10 seconds as well here.
10,
Lone Wolf.
9, 8, 7, 6,
It's
5,
not bad.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Toy boat, try boat, 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 toy boat,
All
try
right.
boat.
I think that's it. Yeah, you got
Oh.
the 5. I'm giving that one to Michael. The last 2 on Tasheem's attempt, the last 2, just a little less clear, slightly tangled compared to Michael. So he got that one, edged out just a little bit. I have a couple more of these for you guys. We'll start this one off with you. Lone Wolf, here is crisp, crusts, crackle, and crunch. Crisp, crust, crackle, and crunch. I'll give you 10 seconds.
10, 9, 8,
Crackle and
7,
crunch.
6,
Crisp.
5, 4,
I don't know. I'm lost.
3, 2, 1.
Crisp, crust, crackle, and crunch. 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 Crisp, crust, crackle, and crunch.
Okay, done. All right. Okay,
10,
put 10
9,
seconds on the clock.
8,
Tasheem.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Crust, crackle, crunch. Crisp, crunch, crackle, crunch. Crisp, crust, crackle, crunch. Crisp, crust, crackle, crunch.
Oh, I think you got like 2 more.
You know? Crisp, crunch, crackle, crunch. Crisp, crunch, crackle, crunch. Crisp, crunch, crackle, crunch. Crisp, crust, crackle, crunch.
Yeah, you got it. I don't know. This one was a bit of a tie for me in terms of clarity. Nobody really got tangled. All right, so we have.
I have to be honest, man. I think Michael got that one.
You think Michael got that one? Okay. I appreciate that. Weigh it out for sure. All right. So you're going to edge out just a little bit there, Michael.
This session is adjourned.
All right. At 5 points. So 4-5. Okay. Still quite close. I've got 2 more of these. And then we're going to switch it up a little bit. This is going to be all you, Tasheem. Fred fed Ted bread. And Ted fed Fred bread.
10,
Oh,
9,
damn.
8,
Oh,
7,
I'm gonna give you 10 seconds
6,
though. I'm gonna get
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I don't even remember what was said, but
Fred
fed
Ted bread, and Ted fed Fred bread. I'm gonna restart it for you. It's fed Fred. Fred. Yeah, it seems like it just.
Yeah, it's at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. You can scroll down. Let me know if you see it.
Oh, oh, okay. I didn't know that. All right. I see it.
Okay, so
10,
I'm restart it for you.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fred fed Ted bread and Ted fed Fred bread. Fred fed Ted bread and Ted fed Fred bread. Fred fed Ted bread and Ted fed Fred bread. Fred fed Ted bread and Ted fed bread fed. Fred fed Ted bread and Ted fed Fred bread.
Okay, one more time.
One more?
Mm-hmm.
Fred fed Ted bread and Ted fed Fred bread.
Okay. All right. Give you 10 seconds out here.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fred fed Ted bread and Ted fed Fred bread. Fred fed Ted bread and Ted fed Fred bread. Fred fed Ted bread and Ted fed Fred bread. Fred fed Ted bread and Ted fed Fred bread.
One more.
Fred fed Ted bread and Ted fed Fred bread.
That was kind of close. That was a bit close to me. I would give it just so slightly to Tasheem. That puts him at 5 points. And the last one is going to be for you to start us off, Lone Wolf. It is really, leery, rarely, Larry. Really? Let me see.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Score is 5-5.
2, 1.
Really Leary, rarely Larry. 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 Really Leary, rarely Larry.
Okay, that's good. All right, Tasheem, you are up.
10,
Put the time in for you.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Really, Leary, really, Larry. Really, Leary, really, Larry. Really, Leary, really, Larry. Really, Leary, really, Larry. Really, Leary, really, Larry.
All right. Yeah, that was pretty good. Well done, gentlemen. That was another tough one for me. I would give it ever so slightly to Tasheem. What did you guys think? I want to keep it balanced here on that last one.
I think it was good.
That last one, I had to put it in rap format. I had to put it in the rhyme, like I was flowing.
Got to figure out your strategy to get through. So yeah, at 6 points, Tasheem, 5 points for Lone Wolf. So it's a very, very close game coming out of that first round. Well done. Well done. Yeah. So, what did you think of those first few games? Feeling comfortable?
Yeah, I'm at ease.
Okay. Good. That's where we want to be at this point, for sure. I wanted to...
A little bit more competitive than I thought.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I get some
I thought it was going to be like
passionate...
first grade level, something easy we could...
Right.
The range varies in terms of difficulty for sure, and depending on the competitive nature of the other poet, yeah, it might not be no cakewalk. You got to work for it. I wanted to talk to y'all though a little bit because obviously we're vibing here, we're chilling, playing these games. Do you guys play games at home, video games, or like find ways to take a break from life a bit and play some games?
I watch game shows on TV. I might watch a little Family Feud.
Okay, Steve Harvey doing his thing. Okay.
Yeah. Some $10,000 pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
Watch some game shows on TV, but don't play too much games at home, though, personally.
Okay.
When it comes to me, Yeah, I like to watch game shows, GSN, but I also play games on my PlayStation, so it's like kind of like the best of everything.
No doubt. What kind of games do you like to play on your PlayStation?
Right now I've been playing Resident Evil Village, which I heard is like really, really, really good, so I just decided to pick it up and start with it.
Check it out.
Haven't gotten far, but it is what it is. Got to take my time with it.
No doubt. Tasheem, I'm curious if you could be on a game show that you've seen on TV or GSN, what would be your top choice game show to appear on? Okay.
No, man, you already know what I'm gonna say. The whole family with their Family Feud.
Oh man, for sure. That sounds cool. That sounds fun. I think I would do that too.
Yeah, I think honestly I would be the same way. Everybody on Family Feud. Let's go. We're gonna win some money.
It's a vibe. In terms of your art, I kind of want to get a sense of what your experiences or the people in your life, or who were they early on that influenced you to express yourself through poetry and spoken word. We'll start with you, Tasheem.
Nice. I gotta say, definitely starting with, it has to be my mother, which I learned to accept and embrace my mother's lifestyle. I was raised by a heroin addicted mother.
Okay.
And I've learned to embrace that as my life, and her life. And my mother's still here with me. I love my mother. We love each other, man. We still share time, great time together. I made the best of it. I've incorporated her into a lot of my poetry, my poems. You'll hear her on like my albums. I've made CDs, and I've always incorporated my mom in it because she was the real strategy in my writing coming up. And from early age to now, she always was my inspiration to write. She always gave me something to write about. And then, moving forward real quick was my brother.
Okay.
My brother, his brother passed away years ago. He actually was Curtis Blow's last DJ.
Nice.
Yeah. He inspired me to write. He was a DJ, so he would get these break beats and make me sit down and write to them.
Oh, wow.
He used to make me sit down and write. And I couldn't get up until I had something ready for him for those beats. Every day we would go down to the basement, put a beat on, and I had to write and come up with something every day. I had to have a rhyme every day.
That's an awesome. Wow.
I have a poem that I say, you could thank my brother, but put the blame on my mother. It's hurtful to think this way of somebody, but a little pain never hurt nobody.
Thank you for sharing that. I want to ask you the same thing as well, Lone Wolf. When you think about your experiences and the people sort of in your early life that influenced you to express yourself through poetry and spoken word.
When it comes to expressing myself, my mother was always key on it. Like, look, you have to express yourself no matter what it is. If you're writing in a journal, if you're writing songs, if you're just writing down how you feel. Because for me, it started like journaling about my daily day, what went down, how I was feeling. And it kind of transitioned into poetry. I was like, you know what? I can do something more than just write how I'm feeling. I can go further than just doing that.
Gotcha. I know a few poets that similar experiences, actually, that they end up becoming poets and writing as an extension of just journaling early on. Very similar experiences. Poets that have been here on this show, actually. I want to ask you, Lone Wolf, how would you sort of describe, especially for those who might not know you, how would you describe your poetic style in 3 words?
3 words. Strong, empowering, and imaginative.
Okay. Same question for you, Tasheem.
Okay. Conscious provoking. Is that
Okay.
2 words?
Let that slide as well.
That's 1 word.
Mhm.
Spoken, dark, and dark.
Okay. All right. As far as performing, what does performing feel like for you, Tasheem?
Nice. I'm glad you even asked that. Performing is the release, man. It's freedom. It's a sense for me. It's a real, true sense of freedom.
Okay.
And when I say freedom, it's fearless because for me, freedom basically is being fearless. Because every single performance that I've been on stage, approaching the stage is fear. Approaching the stage is fear. Looking out into that audience. I've been into huge audiences and I've been in very small audiences.
Yeah.
And looking out, approaching that stage is fear. But the minute you get that first word out, and you close your eyes and you go, whoa, man, you just go into another world, man. It's freedom.
Wow. How would you describe it, Lone Wolf? What does performing look like?
For me personally, performing has been a burden off of my chest because when it comes to me, I like to carry my poetry can be very deep and like personal to me. And, I thought that people might be able to relate to me, mental health things and different things like that are hard for me to like physically talk about. But so I write them down. And once I write them down and I start performing them, I feel like a release. Like everything is okay.
Got you. All right. I can definitely relate to that. I think often too, sometimes just putting it on paper can sometimes be a bit of a release to get things out of the mind, out of the heart, out of the body, and just out, right? Keep stuff inside too long.
Yes, definitely.
What would you say to someone lacking belief in themselves to express themselves through spoken word, finding their voice, telling their story? What would you say, Lone Wolf?
What would I say to someone who's lacking belief in themselves? I would tell them that you have the power to do it. You just have to be able to pull it out of yourself. Because deep down, everybody has a power or strength that they're unaware of at a certain point. But once you start doing something and you're getting feedback on it, people are like, yo, gotta keep doing this. Once you get motivation to keep going, you're gonna be on a roll, and it's not gonna stop.
Let me ask that question a little bit differently. When you decided to begin performing your spoken word, were there any, and just you could point to one, perhaps internal conversation that you had to win over yourself?
I had to get past my own fear. Like, this is gonna go horrible. Had to get past anxiety.
Okay. Got you. All right. Appreciate that. Do you have a poem that you can share right now, Lone Wolf?
Yes, I do. I have one that is called The Storm. This is like one of my favorites and like one of my very, very first that I wrote. That shocked me.
Okay. Can you hold it for me? I want to just have Tasheem. I want to get his response to this question as well, because there's always listeners that want encouragement, that are looking for empowerment, that struggle with self-doubt and things like that. So, Tasheem, what would you say to someone who's lacking belief in themselves to seek out spoken word as a means of expressing themselves?
Okay. I would say song. I would say the closest thing I could find in music that is probably relatable in all senses of poetry is neo soul. I find neo soul artists make it very easy to sit back, relax, close your eyes, and hear the stories, and then for us to get that vibe, get that feeling, we'll be inspired to write.
Okay.
Find your inspiration to write. And normally and usually it would be through song. There's a song that is your favorite song. And believe it or not, it doesn't have to be a neo soul slow song like that. It could be the hardest rap song that ever came out. That's your inspiration. But it is song. Find your inspiration through song. And that once you get that adrenaline going, turn the music off and then write. So that's your start. That's your push start. Your push start is that song, that your favorite song, whatever it could be it could be a song that you heard your grandmother playing.
Right.
Whatever is a song, there is a song for you. Everybody has that one song. Play that song, listen to it, and I guarantee you, cut it off and have a pen and paper ready. As soon as you cut it off, have a pen and paper ready, and I guarantee you'll be inspired to write.
All right, great responses. Thank you both for that. I definitely have listeners that are looking for that type of information, ways to tap into their own, greatness. And I appreciate you guys sharing that insight. Lone Wolf,
yes.
Poem. Okay.
So here is a poem that I wrote called The Storm.
Okay.
This deals with my anxiety and how I overcame it, or how I'm still overcoming it now. Very, very, very heavy. One of my first, plus I rewrote it. So here we go. There are times in life, storms are inevitable. How you deal with it is a matter of perception. You may have a bit of shock or a bit of terror. My life has been through a share of storms. It gets hard to navigate and maneuver at times. Strength, power, and courage are all required. Storm clouds stick with me just like a shadow, existing to remind me of how bad things are. When that happens, my tears flow like a river. If I try to close the floodgates, it's super difficult as the water will still leak out from behind them. Yet I have to open them up to release all of my pain. This anchor is so heavy and too hard to manage. Like Jesus on the cross, it is a burden I must carry. My perception of the man I am will never change. Alone in an ocean, trying my best to stay afloat, I am sucked down into this cold and empty void, trapped inside my own hell, the sunken place. In this hell, I scream, and yet nobody will hear me, stuck in a conscious state, but unable to fully react, in a brawl that is impossible for me to overcome. Faith in myself is just decreasing every minute. Both my eyes and my body will start to get heavy. All the lights around me fade out as I fall asleep. Surrounded by darkness, I search for his light. It's hard to find, but in time I'll get to talk to him. I ask him if I could ever make it out of this hell. You have the willpower to beat it if it's desire. You are my son, and I do believe in who you are. You just have to be able to prove it to yourself. I just don't feel like I'm strong enough, Father. The drive to push past my drama is not there. Is there any way for me to see my true potential? At that moment, he taps lightly upon my chest. I knew what he was trying to tell me all along. The willpower I need is in there laying dormant. Sitting there, I patiently wait for the pain to end. The clouds part as bright sunlight reemerges. My eyes scan the sky while I look for my sign. In the break of clouds, my rainbow can be seen. With this series of events, I've restored my own faith because I know that I have gotten through the worst part. Patience is key to overcoming obstacles in life. Be still and allow the bad things to wash over you. There will always be a good reason for one to smile. No matter what type of pain you have to carry, it's important to remember this small key detail. The storms will end and the sun will come back. And that's the poem.
Heavy indeed. Very personal.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that, man. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
I know firsthand, though it's not always the easiest poems to share. What did you think of that Tasheem?
Oh man, it's nice, man, beautiful. As I'm listening to it, it brought me to mind of the Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
The power you always had, the power always existed within you all along. You just was unaware of it.
Yep.
Just needed to bring it out. That's what came to my mind.
Yeah. As I listened to it, it's a heavy poem, and I could relate to some of the sadder parts of that poem. You know, sobering moments. Like one of the lines that hit me is when you said, "Wait for the pain to end." I thought that was really powerful.
Yes.
That's complex, man. That's complex.
It's crazy that same thing stood out to me as well.
Oh wow.
that verse stood out to me. You said that. Well, that's odd. Yeah.
And it's funny because a lot of people who hear this version of the poem actually think that "In this hell I scream and yet nobody will hear me" is like one of the most powerful lines of that poem altogether. And I was like, okay, you know, I've reread it again and again and again. I've done it on lives before, and it actually is powerful in itself.
Poetry is really like that, man. It can be really transformative. And I think about the question that I asked before you read that piece, and hearing how you sort of journeyed through the process of inspiring yourself, believing in yourself. So when I asked you the question of how would you motivate, or what would you say to someone who's lacking belief, you know, you were speaking from a place of experience.
Yes.
I could tell from that piece as well. Dope, man. Thank you again for that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, Tasheem, man, do you have a piece that you could share with us right now?
You know, of course I do.
All right.
Well, with most of my poetry theme is revolutionary music.
Okay.
When you hear my poetry, pretty much it's about revolution. A lot of people misconstrue and misinterpret what revolution is. For me, revolutionary music is taking the sound, the new sound, replacing it with the old, and formulating and put together a revolution, pretty much. So, as I said earlier, you know, it's about conscious provoking.
Yes.
So I'm gonna do this piece here. Start with a chant. Revolutionary music, revolutionary music, revolutionary music, revolutionary music. Rising from the grave amazingly comes the day walker. Toting, coughing, text, quoting the 42 confessions of the coming forth by day and night. In my right, it's my rod and my staff, because they protect me. As foretold by Dada Bookman and Tucson Overture, we've been lured into a spiritual warfare without any ammo. Just because you see me by myself doesn't mean I came here alone. My tone resonates through the twilight zone. My dome's ability is telepathy. My home is osmosis. Who's Moses? We don't resonate there. Beware of what you hear. The air clears hi-hats and snare drums as Morse code has told. There's subliminal messages in the graffiti on the wall. We premeditated it all. El Amaru, your horo. We now celebrate and dance to the revolution. Revolutionary music, music, revolutionary music, music.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Thank you, Tasheem.
Thank you.
I can hear the hip hop influence, your hip hop influence in your background in that poem. Your reference to the dance.
You'll hear it pretty much in most of my poetry.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely heard like old school Nas, Jay-Z, like based on how you were starting off. I was like, okay, this flows like something that you would pull off Illmatic or Reasonable Doubt or something like that, just based on the flow of the entire piece. And I love that personally.
Wow. You gave me Illmatic. Wow. Thank you, bro.
You're more than welcome. And Reasonable Doubt on top of that.
Oh, yes. You gave me Illmatic and Reasonable Doubt. Oh, thank you, bro. That's definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Awesome piece. How did you know when that piece was done? Is it done?
I'll be honest with you, man. I never know when my poetry is done. Like, I'll have something sitting around and might want to add something to it any given time, man.
But how do you, when you do stop,
Mhm.
how do you approach that end point? Do you?
I have to make myself stop. I have to force myself to stop, man, because I can't keep going. I mean, if you listen, like, I can take another poem and go into another piece, and it'll sound like the continuation of
The previous one. Yeah.
It just flows. Yeah.
It definitely does. It can. For sure. 100%.
Because I have books and books. You know, I haven't even gotten into taking my laptop and putting all my poems into a laptop. I still have notebooks.
Not the only one. I do too.
That's like the best way to do
I
it.
don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I can't sit down and type my poems into I have to write. I'm old school, man. I have to do my I have pads and pads beyond pads in here, man, in my room, man.
I tend to switch in between, like it depends, I guess. If I'm outside, because I do that sometimes, I like to write outside. It'll be pen and paper. If I'm inside, maybe not as much. And the other thing too, I don't know if it might be just a phase of my poetic journey in my life, but right now I have like these bursts of poetic inspiration. And then I'll write like a few stanzas. It's not a full poem necessarily, but something just comes to me in a very like strong and passionate. It just rushes to me, and I usually in those instances I want to get it out quickly, and I find myself I want to save it somewhere because I lose receipts. Sometimes I run out of receipts. I'll throw them out, and I just get like Evernote and I'll throw it in there. So I go in between different platforms.
Yes, it definitely happens because there are times when I'm on the train and I just think of something and it's like, okay, I could start a poem with that, or I could include that in a poem that I'll write. So I have to write it down, like physically write it down before I lose track of it, even if it's on my phone or on a laptop or if I'm traveling. But usually I always carry a notebook with me, notebook and pens on me all the time, because you never know when you have a line that's like, oh my God, I thought of that. Like, I have to write it down and put it somewhere. You know,
Yeah.
and most of the time it's like that for me when I'm on the train, I'm on the bus, even if I'm in the house just by myself. Like, you know what? I haven't had an inspiration in a while. And then into my head comes something profound. Like, I want to write a puzzle about a jigsaw puzzle. I want to write a poem about a jigsaw piece or something like that.
Because I was just going to ask, what tends to be the subject matter of what you write about?
When it comes to subject matter, it's usually mental health or like personal experience. Sometimes it's even outside, like what I see, like more visual
observations.
To me.
Okay. And Tasheem, I know you mentioned conscious, thought-provoking type work, but what in particular, if you could hone in on certain things that tend to be the subject of what you write about?
Spiritual essence. Everything is really revolving around spiritual essence and an awareness of our spiritual. Which, when I say our, it's not to be racist or, to be racist in any sense, but our people, us. As in that last poem, you heard me say a word, El Amaru. A lot of people may not be familiar with that term, El Amaru. Amaru is the actual name, the original name of the place that we are indigenous to here, which they could now call America. The original term, the original name of this place right here. We the original people, we're indigenous to this place. We are not from Africa. They told us that so we will give up our indigenous rights to this land. Whole slave trade story and transatlantic is the story that they gave us. But the word Amaru is the original term. Once we find out who we are, once we find out what we are, once we find out why we are, now we attain the knowledge and awareness of our true identities. You have to know who you are, what you are, and why you are, not what you was told.
That's very, very deep and really pertinent. In fact, the conversation that I had with Lone Wolf earlier today, it had to do with purpose. Purpose came up. It definitely is something that I think you should make every effort to try to understand and know and really seek out. Lone Wolf, you had mentioned that family, friends, writing, and purpose were those like some of the top things that are important to you. Is it necessarily in that order?
I mean, I would probably put my friends above family because in high school, I knew a lot of friends that would rap like in the hallways and they would write their own lyrics and record and everything. I'm still close with all of them. And when it comes to like me writing poetry and different things like that, I got a lot of inspiration from them with their beats and everything. Like just listening to them record. Like, how do you come up with these things? It was like, look, all you got to do is put pen to paper. And I was like, all right, fine. Let's see what I could do.
Do you think that helped you align with your purpose? And what do you think your purpose is?
For my purpose, I think that I was put here to write, honestly. I don't think there's anything else to do but do that. If it's not being an author or something like that, then that'll be a hobby for me, performing and different things like that. But I've always had a flair to just write.
Okay.
I've always had it since I was like maybe 7 or 8.
Gotcha.
So it's always been there.
I see. Did you ever... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask you if you have any poems that you've written that really were transformative. Like you wrote a poem, maybe it took you a while, but you know that poem had so much of your essence and who you were, but it also maybe stretched you a little bit in a way? Maybe you did something creative you had not done?
But I actually do have a poem that kind of like encapsulates my 30 years, because I just turned 31. I wrote this last year when I turned 30. Separated into separate pieces, so I could break it down 10 years, 10 years, 10 years. And that's a poem that I wrote called The Evolution. So it actually goes along like a storyline from when I was a kid up until now. So yes, I do have something that's really prevalent to that particular question.
Got you. When you think about your brand or messaging from your poetry, what is the biggest thing that you want folks to take away from it?
That it's okay to be vulnerable, to let yourself feel the things that you want, that you're scared to feel, and to let them know that it's okay to be able to express themselves in any way. If it's writing, if it's rapping, if it's just writing in general, if it's performing, it's okay for you to feel the things that you are scared of feeling.
Powerful. She mentioned fear earlier on in the episode here. I have a question for you in terms of looking ahead and kind of seeing how you expect to grow as an artist. How do you see yourself and your art growing for 2022?
Growing for 2022. I was actually going to start to put some of my best poems on a format for possibly a book drop, maybe.
Oh, nice.
I'm not really sure, because all I've heard since I started poetry was like, yo, you need to have this in a book. It has to be out because you can't just keep this to yourself, because a lot of my stuff is like profound, mind-blowing, eye-opening. Like, wow, you wrote that? Someone as quiet as you wrote something that deep? So yeah, I've heard a lot of that for years, probably since I was like 18, 19.
Does that tend to be something people assume about you, but that they kind of get wrong, perhaps? Or better yet, let me ask you this question. Can you think of any things that people tend to get wrong about you when it comes to your poetry, presumptions that may be made?
Like I was saying, I'm like kind of soft-spoken, not like introverted and everything like that. So when I perform anything, it's like, oh my God, really? I did not know that he had that in him at all, because of the way that he carries himself.
Gotcha.
Because when I'm around people, I tend to be by myself or things like that. Even around family, I would be by myself, usually writing or just to myself in general. But when it comes to creatively, it's more like, okay, I could step into the role of lone wolf and let Michael take a back seat in a sense. You're like, all right, he has the wheel now, and he's just gonna blow everybody away.
Okay.
So that's how I've always thought about it.
Very interesting. Do you have a piece, another poem, perhaps that you can share with us now?
Yes, I have one that I just finished recently. This poem is called Battleground. It's like the latest poem that I posted on my page.
Okay.
And this is about, it's like really new, relatively new. And people were like, oh my God, this is like profound. As soon as I posted it, it ended up featured on a mental health platform page, like almost right away. So this digs deep. Thank you. I'm going to get into it now.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
This is my poem called Battleground. Is there a difference between hell and my reality? Unfortunately not, as they are all one and the same. Have you ever had dreams of residing in hell? It's a fantasy for most, but for me it's my reality. The place is cold and devoid of all happiness. Stuck in limbo between the light and darkness, on the outside I am free, happy, and optimistic. Yet inside of my mind, I'll remain as a prisoner. In my head, there is a civil war that won't end. The bad emotions goes up against the good ones. It feels like I'm trapped forever inside purgatory. The bad emotions isn't my best bunch of friends. All of them exist, so I make it work in some way. They can be quite nasty and cause great trouble. The anxiety just thinks I'm his sole possession. He tends to push me to the limits of my sanity by bringing out all of my fears and amplifying them. There sits sadness in the corner all by himself. He's the feeling that usually keeps me on edge, deciding to show up at very inopportune times. Off-breaking whatever he can find is madness. If he's left out of check, my mind will get ugly. It looks like a hurricane anytime he is around. Of course, doubt is just being impatient as ever. This is the one who can cause the most damage by making me believe that I'm truly worthless. War rages on from deep within my internal self, yet I only have control over the external stimuli. Everything going on inside me, I pray, sorts itself out. My good emotions have become my salvation by forcing the bad ones to remain in the dark. They can bring me back from my own insanity. There is happiness that'll pick me up if I fall, the one who can change my mood instantly, as he is the emotion that contains my smile. At the desk is the super hard-working creativity. He's the soul who writes till my hands are hurting. In a way, he's the one keeping my mind focused. The one at the mirror is the devoted self-worth, who will never allow the bad things to hurt me. The one whose only purpose is just to keep me safe. There is one more. This is the one I know as love. He's the very last one I would expect to have my back. However, self-love is super important for stability. Back and forth, these few will fight for dominance, as my safe place transforms itself into a devilish hell. It is no longer the place that I can call as a home. Deafening sounds from explosions reside here. I don't want to be fighting this war on all fronts. My reality and my sanctuary is like living inside of a lie. Have you ever had dreams of residing in hell? It's a fantasy for most, but for me it's my reality. The place is cold and devoid of all happiness. Is there a difference between hell and my reality? Unfortunately not, as they are all one and the same. And that's the poem.
Thank you. Somber. It's a bit somber one as well. Heavy.
You got me thinking about that last verse. Difference between hell and reality. It's all
Hell is cold, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I was stuck on that. So I'm like, okay. It's usually pretty hot, but
and that's a conversation I was just having today with someone too. That's crazy. That's deep.
Nice, man.
And it's funny because when I wrote that and when I first performed that, when I was finished, they said, wait a minute, I've never thought of hell as cold before at all in any context. But, you know, the reason I wrote that is because, you know, when it comes to like mental health issues and concerns, there's a lot that goes on inside someone's head.
Definitely.
Okay, I have doubt, I have anxiety.
Yes,
I
love
have this, I have that.
And
And it's funny because how it was written, I capitalized each one of those emotions like they were persons, like they were people.
Yeah.
So anxiety is capitalized, sadness is capitalized, doubt, happiness, creativity, all of it is capitalized because as I see it, they are like different parts of me, who I am. Like, okay, one day you might get anxious, Michael, you might get sad, Michael, you might find Michael mad or in doubt. Other times you might find him happy, you know, loving himself, self-worthy of himself, creative, you know. So every emotion is capitalized like a name.
Yeah, it felt like learning about different parts of you as I listened to it. Yeah. Indeed.
And it's funny, all the times I've performed it, they have nothing to say, like absolutely nothing. And if they do have something to say, they're just like, wow.
Yeah, it's something that it leaves you thinking. And I know for me, it's a bit of a heavy piece. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. It felt like another real personal place to go to. So appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I want to switch it over to Tasheem a little bit. I want to ask you, Ta, as a spoken word artist, how do you read a room to know what piece to perform when you're stepping on stage?
There's different things that we use, different things that I use. I feed off of the poet that was either before me.
Okay.
Or what if I'm the first poet? Then again, like I said, once you step in front of that audience and you look out, you talk to them a bit, you scan the room, use that opportunity in time. Once you introduce yourself, you talk, because as you're speaking, you're multitasking. You're speaking to them, introducing yourself at the same time. You're scanning the room, see who's there, what type of people there, how they dress, the age group, and then your idea. If you're the first poet, a lot of the times the poet before you sets a tone. So you pretty much feed off of that. If the crowd reacts and responds off for him or her a specific way, you feed off of that. You said they really
this is jewels right here.
He's dropping gems.
They really didn't respond to that last poet too well. You say, okay, I got to change the energy. I have to bring a new energy.
Yes,
maybe a lot of women. Maybe a lot of women in there, so you might want to come with a woman poem. Something for the women. But definitely it takes multitasking. It's a few things, like I said.
Yeah,
definitely.
Bouncing off of the first poet before you, or if you're the first poet,
set the tone.
Right, set the tone.
Got you. All right, appreciate that response. Very, very insightful.
Definitely.
I don't think I asked you this, but how do you see yourself in your art growing for 2022? I know you're expecting a project release, right?
Yes, definitely. I'm really proud of this project so far coming up, man. I was really proud of it. The name of it is BESOURO.
Tell us about that title.
BESOURO is a Portuguese word, which means black beetle. It means black beetle. The subtitle of the project is, the name of it is BESOURO Flight of the Beetle. And what it is this. I guess I'm about to explain. A lot of people see me. I have a piece with a black beetle on it, and a lot of people walk up to me like, "What is that? Why you got a bug around your neck?" So here it is. Ancient Kemet believed that when their pharaohs passed, they would put beetles in the tomb with the pharaohs. So now what would happen is that because the beetle is carbonated, we don't know what carbon does. Carbon absorbs all forms of energy. So the black beetle would absorb, they believe that the beetle would absorb the spirit of the pharaoh. Once the beetle the beetle also known to be, other than here in the Western Hemisphere, we say the ant is the hardest working insect, which is not true. The beetle is very well known to be the hardest working insect.
Definitely.
The beetle will then pick apart the sandstone. The tombs are made of sandstone, which pretty much is compressed sand to make stones. Now what the beetle would do is pick grain of sand by grain of sand until he makes a tunnel his way out of the tomb. Once he gets his way out of the tomb and takes flight, the ancient Kemetic people believe that the beetle would now spread the spirit of the pharaoh wherever he flies.
Deep. Okay. So you chose to have that be the symbol.
The symbol of my project.
Okay.
Means Black Beetle. The subtitle of the project is the name of it is BESOURO Flight of the Beetle.
Do you have another poem that you can share with us?
Okay. Yeah. I gotta go into this piece I wrote actually for the page. I actually wrote it, man, when I met her.
Oh.
I wrote it like when I met her. When I met her, man, she walked into this. I'm a barber as well. Okay. She walked into the barber shop, and when I saw her, man, like she's just so dark. Bright white teeth. Just like mesmerized me. And I had to write about it.
A beauty to behold. Definitely.
Yes, definitely, for sure.
Mama, I think I found that girl. Oh yeah, Mama, I think I found that girl. She stepped from out of the dark, cloaked in the attire from the essence of where she arose from. Skin like the bark of tree, the energy of Isis hypnotized me. The complexion of cocoa, hair made of vines, manifested the perfect ingredients of the universe that reached out and touched my soul, uplifted my spirit, and reminded me of the honoree I am. My soul cried that night. That night my soul cried. It cried the tears of rejoicing. I heard the voice that rose out of me and it called her name. Mother of darkness, sister of love, harmony of a melody that would rock you to sleep. Eyes wide open. My soul yearns for you. I believe you without even saying a word. I heard your heart speak, and it told me the story of Queen Sheba and Egyptian pharaohs drinking from the Nile River, delivering a refreshing memoir of who we really are, where we came from. Take me back home. Take me back home. Mother of darkness, sister of love, goddess of my soul, daughter of Amaru, I see you. We are one.
Dope.
Amazing.
Passionate, man.
Yeah.
Did she get a chance? She didn't get a chance to hear that, right?
Yes, she heard. That's actually kind of framed. That's framed up in our room.
Oh, that's good.
A nice picture, a silhouette picture of her, so you don't really you can't really see. I gotta show you this picture, man. Silhouette picture of her.
Here.
It's gonna.
Now you mentioned that you were a barber.
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna ask because I know you're an entrepreneur. I said that earlier on, but we didn't quite get into it.
I am a man of many things,
This is the moment to let my listeners know just what it is that you do in terms of because you've got a couple businesses and ventures going on. I know you can share some of that information with them at this time, please.
Okay, definitely. I actually also prepare and sell herbs, healing herbs, cleansing herbs, natural herbs, natural soaps. Definitely a package, labeled Spice for Life.
Okay.
Yeah, actually have a page on Instagram called Spice Flight that you could go to and see all my products, all my herbs.
Okay.
Have everything posted, listed there. Which herbs they are, what they do for you, what type of cleansing they perform. And yes, man, I do that. Barbering as well. Everything from fades, afros, Caesars, the bald heads, beard lines and trims.
Nice.
Can I ask this? Because I know this part. I don't know if you still do it or not. But do you still do custom bead necklaces and jewelry?
Oh yes, that's also on there as well. That's also on the page as well. As you heard me speak about the piece that I have with the beetle on it. And
Yes.
anything that you see me wearing in jewelry, I made it.
Dope.
When you go on that page, you'll see different necklaces that I've made. That's for sale as well.
Fire. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. All right. So we've had a chance to hear some great poetry, some real insightful wisdom and experience shared here during our little our moment of conversation. But I do want to shift a little bit and get back into our game. Finish off our last round with these remaining categories. Are you gentlemen ready for that?
Yes, sir.
All right, fantastic. So we left that last round with 6 points for Tasheem and 5 points for Michael. So this round, we're going to start off in the listening category. I've got a game called Word Count. I've selected a poem. Today's piece is going to be from Maya Angelou. We're going to listen to it. Listen to this beautiful piece by this queen poet and read the stanzas of the poem. Occasionally, I'm going to stop at the end or the middle of the stanza to ask you, how many words did you hear? I'll ask you just to tell me the count of it at the time that I stop. So the word count can be the third word that I said. It could be the 23rd word. It could be the 17th word. It all depends. But I'll let you know, okay, I'm starting at the beginning of the stanza. So then you can start counting 1, 2, 3, 4 for the words that follow after that until I stop. I'll let you know each time I'm going to start reading a new stanza where you want to start counting again. The counting resets each time I begin a new stanza. And I'll let you know. There is one group here out of the stanzas in this poem where it's a little bit long. Most of these stanzas are 4 lines, but this one section is going to be 8 lines. And I'll let you know when we reach that point. So again, this is Word Count. Our poem we're going to be hearing today is from Maya Angelou. It is And Still I Rise. I think we're ready to go. Do you gentlemen have any questions about how to play this game?
No, I got you so far.
Nope, nothing on my end either.
All right, so first, I'm going to play this poem, and let's just kick back and relax and enjoy a little something from Maya Angelou.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll arise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Just because I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my sassiness upset you? Don't take it so hard just because I laugh, as if I have gold mines digging in my own backyard. You can shoot me with your words, You can cut me with your lies. You can kill me with your hatefulness. But just like life, I rise. Does my sexiness offend you? Oh. Does it come as a surprise that I dance as if I have diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past rooted in pain I rise. A black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling and bearing in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak miraculously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, wow. There I go.
Wow.
Yes, yes, yes. Maya Angelou.
Amazing.
Your resting in peace and poetry. So, I know we're familiar with that poem, but what we may not be familiar with is exactly how many words are in this, how many times a certain word may appear. And that's where we're going to go with our first question. How many times does the word rise appear in this poem? Is it A, 7 times, B, 10 times, C, 9 times, or D, 11 times? This is for both of you, gentlemen.
Who's going first?
It doesn't matter.
9.
I think I heard 10.
9 from Tasheem.
I think I heard 10.
Okay. We've got 10 and we've got 9. Well, it is actually 10. Yep. 10 is correct. All right. Tied up here at the start of our second round. All right. Next question. How many times does the word still appear in the poem?
Still, as in stand still?
Yes, as in still I rise. Is it A, 4 times, B, 6 times, C, 5 times, or D, 3 times?
Ten, 9, 8, 7,
I heard
6,
it 4
5,
times.
4, 3,
Okay, and
2,
Tasheem?
1.
4.
You gonna go with 4 as well?
I mean, I have to change it.
You can change it. Yep.
4.
What's your final answer?
4.
4? Okay. No, this one was actually 3. 3 times. Very close though. All right. Now, I'm going to go up to the first stanza and begin counting. Stay with me. Are you gentlemen ready?
Yes.
Okay. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted, the word bitter. What number word was that?
10, 9, 8, 7,
It was 9.
6, 5,
And what do you think,
4,
Tasheem?
3,
I say 8.
2, 1.
Unfortunately, both of you are wrong on that one. It's the 10th. That was the 10th word. Okay, moving right along. Bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. What number is the word rise here? What is the count on the word rise in this stanza?
10, 9,
The first one to give it
7,
gets the point.
6, 5,
17.
4, 3,
Okay.
2, 1.
Tasheem?
I'll take a wild guess. Say 12.
No, both of those are incorrect. So this one you may have misunderstood. So it's from the first word. So from the word you all the way to the word rise. That was 26 words. So I think maybe you thought me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Maybe you continued counting. You restarted your count after that point. But that was all part of the same stanza. So that one stanza had 26 words. We're going to go to the next one. We're tied up at 6-6. You gentlemen ready? Okay, remember, it's the first one to give me the correct answer. Here we go. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping. What count is the word pumping? What is our word count at the word pumping?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I got an answer from Tasheem. That was what?
I'm gonna say 21.
20.
Michael got that one. Very close. Yep, that one was 20. Okay. Pumping in my living room. Now I'm going to go to the next stanza. This will be a mixed stanza, which means it's going to be 8 lines total. Okay, so listen close. Here we go. Just like moons. What word is moons? What count?
27.
Tasheem said 3.
27.
Right? Michael, you saying 27?
Yeah.
Because the count restarted here. So that's actually the third word.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
All right, Tasheem got that one. Okay. I'm still in that stanza now. So moon was the third word. Let's continue. And like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope's spring high, still I'll. What is the word count on I'll?
16.
Close. No.
18.
18 is correct. All right. Continuing on. Same stanza. I'll. Right. That was 18. Next word is rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head. What is our word count on the word head?
12.
No, that was the same. It's all part of the same stanza. So 18 was the word I'll. So I'll was 18, and then rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head.
28.
Very good. Yep. Michael got it. All right. So head is the 28th word. We're still in this same stanza. I'm just going to continue reading. And lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. What is our word count on cries?
40.
No. Tasheem?
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say 38.
No. Both of you got really close there. Okay, that was 41. All right. Let's move over. Now, this is going to be a restart. This is a new stanza now. It's going to be about 8 lines. Are you ready? Okay. First word here. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my. What is our word count here on the word my?
22.
Was that Tasheem?
Yes.
That's correct. Gonna continue now. So, yep, that was in my. And then that my was a 22nd word. Now, the 23rd word is, and again, this is going to be part of the same stanza as I continue reading. That was digging in my, and then own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. What is our word count here on the word words?
31.
You got it. Moving right along. You may cut. What is our word count here?
34.
You got it. Me with your eyes. You may kill. What is our word count now?
40.
No.
41.
That is correct. Kill is 41. Me with your hatefulness, but still like air, I'll rise. What is our word count on rise?
50.
Close, no?
10, 9,
What's that?
8, 7, 6,
52?
5.
No, you
4,
guys, it's right in the
3,
middle.
2, 1.
That one was 51.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to say 51, but
All right, there's a couple more stanzas to go here. And this is going to be a restart now. So we're starting back. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? What is our word count at the word thighs?
22.
No. Tasheem?
let's say 23.
Close. Again, you guys are so close. This was 24.
Oh, wow.
Right there. Right. This would be a restart again. New stanza. Here we go. Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. What is our word count at tide?
34.
He got it. Yes. Nicely done. And the last stanza, gentlemen. Leaving, it's a restart. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. What is our word count on that last rise, gentlemen?
I'm gonna say 42.
43.
Wow, that was so close again. This one was 40.
Oh, wow.
I always get these creepy laughs that come out of nowhere.
Oh, no.
I can't explain them.
It's all right.
That was very, very well played, gentlemen. Nicely done. So let me tally up these scores real quick for our word count. We had 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, at the end of that round for Michael. And then we had 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for Tasheem. Okay.
Really close. Still
Awesome.
close.
Awesome. All right, gentlemen. Because of the time, we're gonna go ahead and kind of start wrapping up our game. We're gonna leave it there in terms of the points. So let's congratulate our winner here this evening, Tasheem, Prince of Darkness. Well done. Well played.
Yes, well played. Definitely.
Our prize is inside of Spilled Ink, which is in the Ink magazine, one of the dopest publications out there for poetry and spoken word. So be sure to look out for that. As well, our consolation prize for this evening comes from CompuFix Solutions, an IT firm offering business and residential technical support services. You can find them at compufix.net. Once again, congratulations to both of our players for a very, very good game.
Very well played, yes.
Now, this season, we're doing something a little bit different, something very special with the poets that appear on the show. I want to get a line to add to our season group poem that we're developing now. And I want to get a line from each of the poets where the theme is collaboration. The theme is collaboration. And I've already had about 7 poets or so add a line to this. So I'm going to read what we have up to now and then ask each of you to please add a line for me. I'm going to share it here in the chat so you can read it. And I'll read it out loud. This is what we have so far. The artists that have been on the show to give these lines is Shandi Poet, Squad Roll, that's a music band in South Africa. Star and Tony were the members that were on the show. Mayana Sarver in the ATL, she came and blessed us with the line. The Mass Poet from episode number 2. We also had Lynn Denise come through and bless us, as well as Justin Patton. So here we are with these two dope poets ready to bless us with a line each. So what we had so far was the lines we make together will last forever. Collaborate to elevate, collaborate to congratulate. Spread more love, not hate, and that'll lead our people to heaven's gate. It takes more than two to leave these lines behind. What's sad is at times people don't think it takes time to shine, but together we will shine. Together we are all divine. We are all God's children in the image of the Most High, shining our light to inspire others to shine brighter. So with that, do you guys have a preference? Does anyone in particular want to go first to add the line? I had Tasheem here to add it, but it doesn't have to go that way.
When it comes to adding on to that,
Yeah.
I think I could add on to that last one there.
All right. I'm going to put you there then.
So let's
Cool with
see.
you, Ty? That's
Yeah,
cool
yes,
with you?
Yes, sir. It's very much. Well, I'm still thinking.
Okay. All right, Lord Wolf. Give it
So
to us.
let's see. Together we are all divine, all God's children. The two pens ignite like gas to a flame, making it burn so much brighter.
I wonder what that would look like. It's like Super Saiyan level 5, 6, 7, 8.
Probably 10, maybe. If we even going that high.
I want to go to that open mic right there. I want to see them perform. All right. Tasheem, you ready?
Let's see.
And I know I'm putting the poets on the spot with this kind of thing, and I know everybody doesn't write like that. I don't write like that. If it's not flowing, it's not flowing. But sometimes I put myself in a writing situation and I just write whatever comes out. I'm not as critical as everything. But I also like the idea of just it being in the moment as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I definitely feel like some of the best poems are not thought about at all. Sometimes they come from something random, like looking outside or what's around you. And that's like what I was saying earlier about being outside, being in that moment. Like, you know what? If I see the snow falling or I'm by the water, I'll be like, okay, I'll start to describe it.
Yeah,
what I'm seeing, like
embrace the moment.
visually.
You hug the moment, if you will.
Yeah.
You ready, Tasheem?
I guess I'm gonna go with orchestrated by the hands of Mother Nature like a symphony.
Nice.
Orchestrated by the hands of Mother Nature like a symphony. Beautiful.
Amazing.
Thank you for that. Okay. Actually add this so that next episode, be ready with that. All right, so let me hear I want to hear the whole thing now. Always get excited with these things. The lines we make together will last forever. Collaborate to elevate. Collaborate to congratulate. Spread more love and not hate, and that'll lead our people to heaven's gate. It takes more than two to leave these lines behind. What's sad is at times people don't think it takes time to shine. But together we will shine. Together we are all divine. We are all God's children in the image of the Most High, shining our light to inspire others to shine brighter. The two pens ignite like gas to a flame, making it burn so much brighter. Orchestrated by the hands of Mother Nature like a symphony. All right.
Ooh, amen to that.
Appreciate it.
Amen.
Always such an inspiration, vibing with dope poets, creatives. Now, as we wrap up the show, I do want to know if there's any final thoughts that you have, things you want to share with our listeners, as well as how they can connect with you.
Actually, I kind of left something out. You asked me a question, and I kind of left a little piece out that I want to clarify on.
Please.
Which is my name. Tasheem, the Prince of Darkness.
Yes.
I know a lot of people question why take a name like that. I get that very often. The reason why I've taken on that name is a challenging thing. It's a challenge. Because we are led to believe that everything that is dark is demonic. We have been led to believe this. And it's subliminal messages to us to really look at everything that's dark as evil. So it was a challenge to understand that the origin of everything in existence comes from darkness.
I appreciate you touching on that, because I think that is something listeners would inquire about. What exactly you mean by Prince of Darkness?
Everything about me is dark. I'm dark. My queen is dark. My poetry is dark. I walk dark. I talk dark. Everything about me is dark. So I claim myself as the Prince of Darkness.
How can folks connect with you, Tasheem?
Various ways. You can get me on Instagram, as you said earlier, Evan Tasheem Reynolds. You can connect with me on Spice for Life on Instagram. Email drkness47@gmail.com. So that's actually darkness without the A.
Okay.
Even my Gmail is dark.
But I realized that I didn't answer that question at all about when it comes to like names and everything.
How you came up with Lone Wolf? That's right.
Yes.
I don't think I asked that question.
No.
Specifically, but yeah. Tell us.
All of my life I've been like a loner, like introverted, away from everybody. But as a kid, I also love huskies, like gray wolves and everything, how independent they are. Like when I was reciting my battleground piece, and I was like, okay, you know what? Sometimes someone else takes over at a point.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. Like Michael will be there, but the more powerful part, the poet, will take over when he needs to. So wolf, pack, everything kind of like flowed together for me.
Okay. It's a really cool poetic name.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But with that said, again, we're kind of wrapping up. So did you have any final thoughts or anything that you would like to let the listeners know about how to connect with you as well?
When it comes to connecting with me, you could just add my Instagram account. That is Lone Wolf Poetry 7. All one word, no underscore, no period, no dot, no nothing. Lone Wolf Poetry 7. That's about it.
All right. Cool. Thank you for that. There was so many really dope lines and moments of real inspiration tonight. Again, so grateful for you guys accepting the invitation. To our listeners, remember to check out our work on Etsy, working on some new designs and putting them out there. If you haven't done so already, sign up for the Naquel newsletter before the next release this month, and you can visit our website for that and much more. Email the podpoetslounge@gmail.com for all things. Come here and play live Sunday, January 23rd. Our guests today were Lone Wolf and Tasheem, the Prince of Darkness. Wanna really bless up the space, nice. It was a pleasure having you on the show. Evidenced by the smile on my face. Stay safe, stay positive, and take good care. Peace.